Hi, this is video 14 of the 90-day video challenge, and tonight I just wanted to talk about an article that I posted on my Facebook pages today. I'll put the link in the comments of the video, and this video will be in the link in the comments of the article, so people can kind of pair the two together. But basically, if you didn't have a chance to read it, the article was about how children are spending up to 11 hours in daycare each day because their parents are working such long hours and the commutes involved that parents have to take. The article, I don't know quite how I sort of feel about it, to be honest. It seems to point the finger at parents that this isn't the right thing to do. It talks about the dangers of having a child in care, the danger to development and the family that it was sort of spotlighting. There's a section in there where the mother talks about how it would have been career suicide for her to have given up her job completely when she had her children. And I don't know, it just kind of made her out to be a bit selfish that she'd put her career before her kids, but I don't know, I don't think that's actually the reality of what it is. I don't have any of my children in long-term care at the moment. We do public kindy, which is a few hours a day, 3 days a week for my 4-year-old. My 1.5-year-old has 3 to 4 hours with a babysitter each week. And my 5-year-old's at school. Other than that, we don't have childcare arrangements. But when I only had one child, I was working full-time, and I was in the same shoes as the people in the article. We'd leave the house at 6:10 in the morning. I'd drive for an hour to get to work. He'd be in daycare from 7:15 in the morning until 4:15 in the afternoon. Then I'd pick him up, and then it would take us anywhere from an hour to an hour and 45 minutes to get home, just depending on the traffic. We'd get home, we'd have maybe an hour to get him fed, give him his bath, and then off he'd go to bed for the night. And that was 5 days a week. So I can really understand how hard it is for those families having to do that. And I also understand that they probably feel like they have no other choice. It's very expensive to live in Auckland these days, and you really do have to, if you want a nice home in a nice area, you kind of have to look into the outer suburbs. That's really the only place where you can find anything, and that means a long commute. For most people, not for all, but for most. And I think it's really easy for people to sit there and point the finger and go, oh, you chose to have kids, so you should choose to put your career to the side for 5 years until they're ready to go to school. But, that's not really fair either. 5 years is a long time to be out of the game. The whole industry changes and you effectively set yourself back at maybe not square one, but certainly back a few steps. Prospective employers want to know what you've been doing with the last 5 years of your life. And because you've been out of it and your brain hasn't been working in the ways that it does when you're working your job, you're using different parts of your brain and you're using different strategies and different skills when you're dealing with kids all day long. It's not necessarily an easy transition back to working. As the woman in the article said, it can be career suicide. I know for me, I was in a situation when my second was born where I really couldn't work. He was really quite ill and needed round-the-clock care. Putting him in a daycare was just not an option. It would not have been the right fit for him at all. And I, to be honest, didn't trust anyone else with him either. He was on a lot of medications. He's still on a lot of medications. There was a lot of cares involved, and I didn't trust anyone else to do it unless they were a trained nurse. And he didn't want to be away from me. You know, he was having a really hard time and he wanted to be with his mum 24/7. So for me, the decision was made for me that I needed to give up work. And then when I kind of looked at going back a few years later, I had been out of the game too long and too much had changed. I couldn't just waltz on into my old position because it didn't even exist anymore. Things had changed so much. So yeah, the article kind of resonated with me, I guess, because I can see it from both sides. Now I'm in a job that works for my family, but I have, been in a situation where I thought the only answer was working, and I've been in a situation where I thought the only answer was not working, and being at home and being poor. There are actually other options out there, but you've got to look hard for them, and you've got to be willing to take a few risks. For me personally, this works well because I'm not undervaluing myself. I looked into part-time options, and they're there. I'm not going to deny that they're there. They are there, and I probably could have found one. I didn't like the pay, and I know that sounds really probably a bit proud and a bit up myself, but you know what? I'm an intelligent, skilled individual, and I just think I'm worth more than $20 an hour. And if I settle for $20 an hour, then that's all I'll get paid, and that's just not good enough for me. Nothing against those working for $20 an hour or less than $20 an hour. If it's working for your family and you're comfortable with it, then awesome, go for it. If it's not, don't give up. There are other options out there. There are other things you can do. Keep looking, Working on the internet, like what I'm doing, is fantastic for me because I can do it anywhere, anytime. So I don't have to worry about childcare. I don't have to, put anything else out of the way. That's not for everybody. If for some people they'd be like, no, hell no, I want interaction. Nope, I've got a law degree. I want to be using my law degree every day. We all walk in different shoes and we walk down different paths. There's no one size fits all. But yeah, anyway, that's a big rant and ramble from me, but I felt really sorry for the lady in the article. I felt that she'd been treated unfairly, and I felt sorry for all the working parents out there reading that who have their kids in daycare, about how they probably felt, because I'm pretty sure it triggered a bit of guilt. I don't know if it's any consolation. I'm not a scientist or anything like that. I know there's a lot of studies out there that suggest childcare can be harmful to children, and not a lot that suggest it's good for them. But when my son was in full-time care, I was absolutely 100% confident that he was just fine. He loved his childcare. He loved the staff. The staff were stable. They genuinely loved him. He was greeted every morning with a cuddle from all his teachers, and he was very happy there. I don't think it did him any harm being in daycare for 8.5 hours each day for 5 days a week. I do think that it affected the relationship that I had with him, and it affected the bond between the two of us. But here we are now, years later, and we're just fine. He turns to me if he's got problems, and I'm pretty proud of the little person he's become, actually. Anyway, I've gone off on another rabbit hole, so sorry about that. I will see you tomorrow in our next video. Bye.